Coach My Love is for those couples who we consider self-functioning.
We also cater to singles and divorcees.
We like to focus on what you're going through today and creating steps with you to help you move toward tomorrow.
You're going to have some conflict that's unavoidable, but how you resolve the conflict is the difference.
It's not just about today. It's growing with you, with the issues of today's society, and it's personalized. We just don't put you in a one-size-fits-all situation.
And we have the tools that we're not only teaching you, but we have personally used within our own marriage and have proven to be effective. The passion is real, the dedication is there, and we just really want to help you.
Welcome, you guys, to another episode of Coach My Love. We are excited. We're going live on several channels right now. We are excited. We are excited to bring you a hot topic. Baby, you ready?
I am. Are you ready?
I'm ready. People, y'all ready?
First of all, I want to introduce who we are. For those of you who don't know, I am Shavon Ballard, and this is my amazingly sexy chocolate drop of a husband, Michael Ballard. And we are certified relationship coaches with Coach My Love.
That's right. That's CoachMyLove.com. Follow us. Go online. You can fill out our questionnaire. We can help you with your relationship issues. Because, baby, we've been there. Have we been there?
We've been there and back.
Huh? I've been married, we've been married for, divorced, engaged, dating, busted and disgusted.
Heartbroken.
Happily single.
Living our best lives.
I ain't going back and forth with you. I'm living my best. We're
going to keep it clean. We don't want to get censored.
We don't get censored. All right, Cho, check it out. The topic of today is, should you remain friends with your ex after the relationship is gone? Huh? This is a hot topic. All right? So what you think, baby? First of all, what you think about that topic? Huh? I'm hot. I'm sweating.
I know. Yeah,
I feel like I'm on trial, and
right.
this is a question. Go ahead, baby.
I know a lot of people who do stay friends with their exes post-breakup for different reasons. Sometimes they are friends before going into the relationship. They try to revert back to that friendship after breaking up. I have known people who didn't know each other at all before getting together and then tried to be friends post-breakup. Even in my experiences, I can say I've lukewarmly tried to be friends with exes post-breakup, and it really is different for every scenario. But one thing I have realized, whatever the circumstance was before being in a relationship, after you've had sex with this person and shared certain intimate moments and touches with this person and moments with this person, it's really hard to try to go back to just being friends. Because whether they want to acknowledge it or not, there's always some subliminal hints of sexual tension, even if you date new people. And I think that's kind of dangerous, especially if you're trying to move on and get into a new relationship. Because me personally, I think like maybe in high school years ago, like I was kind of trying to be friends with an ex. It wasn't anything serious, but we were just friends because like even in the relationship, like it was not even a relationship. We were more like buddies in the relationship. So that was one thing. But in my adult years, like I would never want to be friends with my exes because for one, they end up being F-boys. You know what I'm saying? And like I end up just losing all respect for them as human beings as a whole. So it's like, if you can't even respect me on a relationship level, why would I even want to engage with you on a friendship level? It just never works. So, me personally, no.
Okay.
No-go.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, you know what? I can honestly say I have not remained friends with any of my exes. And, you know, honestly, I really haven't thought about it as far as in the process of doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think most of the time, once we part our ways, that's it. You know what I'm saying? They exes for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Now they're question marks. So most times they went from exes to question marks because you start questioning why you was with them in the first place.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that it brings on a lot of animosity and a lot of issues. Okay. Now, real quick for my live viewers out there, any questions? You guys can chime in at any time. Do you think it's okay to remain friends with an ex? Okay. So we have a write-in right now. I'm going to read this right in, and we're going to see if we can help this young lady out, okay? Dear Coach My Love, I'm in a committed relationship with a loving guy for 2 years now. We have just moved in together 3 months ago and things are going great. But last week things changed when he found out that I went out to dinner with my ex-boyfriend. Now he doesn't trust me, and he is thinking about moving out. Why is he so jealous? Me and my ex were friends since we were 12 years old, and we dated for only 2 years. And we decided that we were better off as friends. He's close with my family, and I don't want to lose that. What should I do? Ooh, woo! So Shavon, tell me about that situation. What you think, woman of mine? Break it down.
Well, I understand it on different levels.
Okay.
I understand y'all was probably homies growing up. Y'all go way back. But you can't negate the fact that at some point y'all was so close or y'all was intimate at some level or another. So to try to act like y'all can just go back to being friends, even if you are successful friends, any new relationship that comes along that is aware of y'all past relationships is going to feel uneasy. And it's not an insecurity. It's more of a protection more than anything else. Because I feel like we talk about that whole access to that person. You've seen, like, for example, if let's say he was friends or trying to get back friends with somebody he was once in a relationship with, you've seen my body. Like, I'm not comfortable with that. You know what that feel like, and I'm not with it. Like, you can't erase those sex memories. You just can't. And whether they ain't even talked about, it's just too, it can get risky. You know what I'm saying? Like, having that access to potentially know that one day maybe we could, you know, have sex again or go there again. If y'all went there at one point, what's really could stop y'all from going there again? And I do understand her boyfriend's point of view, because that is highly disrespectful, especially if she didn't explain to him that she was going to go out, I guess, on a date or hang out with her ex. I don't care. Y'all used to be friends. Y'all used to be boyfriend, girlfriends too. And y'all used to get it in. So, no, hell no. That's extremely disrespectful.
So then we pose the question, can you really be friends with the opposite sex? I mean, I know that's kind of like a different topic, but here we are. Like she said in this thing, they were friends since they were 12 years old, right? So they was homies. And then he's close with the family, and they went out on a date. So I guess in her mind, she thinks that, you know what? It was innocent, no harm, no foul. Nothing happened, right? They have history together. But here's the problem for me. Now, when we talk about relationships, especially marriage, right? There's two things that really marriage is about, okay? It's about access and it's about priority. It's about access and priority. When you get married to someone, it is not about control, nor is it about ownership. And I know religion and certain things in the media, marriage is not about, ladies, fellas, it's not about control, and it is not about ownership. You do not own a person, and you cannot control a person. Marriage and relationships is about access and about priority, which means when you're in a committed relationship with someone, they have access to you and you have access to them. It's a sacred bond, and you have priority in their life. Now, especially when you get into marriage, right? Marriage is first God, then it's spouse, then it's family. All right. Now, I know media and everything else say it's something different, but the truth is God, or whatever God you serve, whatever your spiritual background is, God is that other person, is that other spouse, and his children. Do you have priority in that person's life? Now, when you remain friends with an ex, a person that used to have access to you, a person that used to have priority in you, and you bring that person around, then there becomes a conflict, right? And it don't matter. I don't care how confident you are as a man, as a woman, and you know, people talk about, well, I'm secure and you know, I'm not jealous, and they can go out and hang out who they want to hang out with. Let me tell you guys something. That's a very dangerous thing when you give access to someone who used to have total access to that person.
Oh, yes.
Am I right?
Agree. I totally agree. I want to touch on the whole, what they call it, platonic, mixed sex friendships, the male-female friends and all of that. I absolutely believe that a man and a woman can be friends, even if, like, they used to not be in a relationship together. Totally. But like you said, if you've ever gotten to the place where y'all went as far as even 2 years, that's kind of a long time for it to be nothing. And just to act like, okay, we could just go back to being friends. But low-key, from my experience, from no offense, But a lot of times, guys just want to be friends with women just to get close enough to have sex with them at some point, to have access to them. Women, I think, are better at knowing how to be friends with the opposite sex versus men, because from what I've seen and learned, a lot of men usually have hidden agendas. Even in my personal experience, I've had guy friends in the past who I thought was my homies. Like, we would shop together, we would talk about my boyfriends together. And one of my friends, this is a long time ago, he had actually created a fake profile, like he was somebody else, and started like talking to me and trying to flirt with me. And like when I found out it was him, I was like, oh my God, is this you? So he admitted it was him, and it was like real awkward. And it was like, man, I just got played. Like this whole time I thought we was cool, like we was friends. And if you feeling some type of way, you know, let that be known. Don't be a manipulator and try to pretend like you something you not just so you can get close enough to get access to. That ain't right.
Yeah, I think, too, a lot of times, not all the time, but in general, you know, a friend of mine told me guys only want to be friends with a woman normally so that if he can't get with them, he want to stay close enough in that area that if anything ever goes wrong in that relationship, he has an opportunity. Right. You know, the friend zone is still a zone, all right? It's a zone close enough so that that person can get with you just in case something happens. And that's why it's really dangerous when you remain friends with that ex. Now, all right, I want to play Angel's Advocate because we ain't gonna play Devil's Advocate up in this bad boy. We say,
what is Angel's Advocate?
Angel's Advocate on the other end of the situation. What if there are guys who truly were good friends? And in this case of this young lady, they were friends before the relationship, right? They were close with the family, and I don't necessarily think that if the friendship is truly honest, right? You're married, they're married, you guys have this bond, you guys have this friendship. I honestly don't necessarily see anything wrong with remaining friends with someone that you were friends with before the relationship, all right? Because there is history, there is familiarity. I'm a tongue tie because it's hot, these lights. And there's a commonality, there's family, there's history. I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with remaining friends with somebody, even if they were in a relationship. Like in this case, they said that they dated, they tried it, they decided that this was only going to be friends, and they went, you know what I'm saying? So they made a conscious decision, and this was way before the boyfriend, right? I don't personally see anything wrong with remaining friends with somebody in that circumstance.
But let me ask you, if it's causing a conflict within the relationship, then what?
Okay, now that's different, okay? If it is causing some conflict in the relationship, I would ask, what is the conflict? Is it just jealousy on the part of the other person? Or is there something actually going on in that relationship where the ex is trying to bring some drama, bring some strife, or part ways? You know what I'm saying? So I think it has to be necessarily reviewed and understood. I don't think you have to necessarily throw away a real friendship with someone, even if you had history, because we all got history, right? We all got things we've done in the past, and if we've definitely grown for it, and if there is no romantic ties to that person, then I think you can remain friends. However, I think that it should be with limitations, with boundaries, and with respect. Now, the problem with this message here with this young lady, she never told the boyfriend that she was going out on this date.
So let me chime in. First of all, the fact that you harboring secrets that you sharing with your ex is showing me that y'all obviously got some special bond that I don't even know about. I mean, it's enough that you still in contact with this man that you've obviously must have had sex with in a relationship at some point. But it's almost like a form of cheating to me. When you feeling like, okay, well, don't tell him, but we gonna go do this. We finna go. Okay, and what's gonna stop you from sleeping together? Y'all not gonna share that either, I'm sure. I just feel like it's just too close for comfort. I wouldn't personally, I don't condone it. I wouldn't do it, and I haven't done it. It's just too much. Like, you can't, I don't know. I really don't like that. I think that's wrong. That's secretive. That secrecy breeds suspicion. And if you especially share secrecy with someone you used to have sex with and be intimate with, that is a problem. And he had every right to move out.
Okay. Well, we'll say, well, for the sake of me not sleeping on the couch, I'm going to agree that there was some wrongness. I think that she should not have hid it. I think that if it was innocent and honest, she should have told him. Maybe she was afraid that it would cause a conflict. Maybe she was afraid of cause. I don't know why she would have told him that. But he has every right to be upset with not knowing the truth. I think when you're in a relationship, when you're married, especially when you're moving in together and things are getting serious, I think that's first of all, moving in with someone is definitely a very serious step. I think it should be done with caution because you're really moving into a different realm of access with someone that you're not married to. And I think really when you talk about moving in with someone without being married to them, it's a very tricky subject. And that's a subject for another day. But when you have access to someone like that and you get to see all their ins and outs and their daily actions, it's going to start making you more vulnerable to things that are going on in relationships, right? So when you do that, you have an obligation, I believe, to tell someone that you are about to go on a date. You are about to get into a situation with this person with X. I think you should divulge all types of information like that when you move in with someone and when you are dating someone, right? X or not X, right?
Yeah. And I was going to say, let's just recreate the scenario to make it more respectable. Let's create some boundaries. Let's just say if the boyfriend was okay with her being friends with her ex, and let's just say there was no sexual tension or hidden agendas between the two friends, right? She was still wrong for lying, but let's just say it don't take much, even if the scenario is non-threatening, to have a conversation with your guy or your girl. Not even like in a marriage, but in a relationship, somebody you sharing your home with, your body with, your time with, your probably finances with. How difficult is it to sit down and have a conversation with this person to come to respectable agreement? Are you okay with me doing this or not? And being okay with the answer. If they're not okay with it, cool, because your relationship should take precedence over any other relationship outside of your relationship with God, especially within marriage. You know what I'm saying? So friendship or not, like, this is the person you want to be with and maybe one day marry, or you are already married. You need to have a conversation with the person that you're with and have an understanding. Is it okay if I go out with this person or not? If it's not okay, be okay with not going. If it is okay, go ahead, have a good time, be respectful and appropriate.
Right.
But that was completely out of order. And like I said, I stand by him that he was absolutely in the right to leave.
That's right.
That was just a glimpse of what it's going to be going forward, especially if they have so much history. He ain't going nowhere. They're going to stay friends, and they might end up getting back together once he moves out.
They do. Now, listen, we're going to take some questions. I want you to check your feed over there.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Taylor, Griff Taylor in the building. What is your question? You said, ooh, you got questions? Please ask your questions so we can chime in on this conversation about should you remain friends with your ex after the relationship is over. And again, like I said, I think it depends. I'm not necessarily against it. I think there has to be some very understandable circumstances. If you're in a relationship and a friendship that lasts years and was about years before this person ever got along, you guys hashed out the issue that you're not want to be together again, that you guys are responsible adults. There's nothing going on in between the situation, and you set up boundaries and you set up rules. I think you can remain friends with someone. Okay, I don't know about the term best friends with someone.
BFF.
Okay, I don't know about the BFF situation, right. But I think if it's control and that if there's boundaries and that there is respect, you should definitely be friends once the other person is comfortable with it. Now, if the other person isn't comfortable with it, we have to go into some questions to why the other person isn't comfortable with it. Is it just straight jealousy? Is there jealousy between, or do they feel like this person, or there's some type of interaction or some things that's going around in that relationship that that other person has something to be concerned with? Okay.
I do want to say something like realistically, because we know people in like healthy relationships sometimes have trouble communicating. So let's just say they decide to go ahead and be friends and let bygones be bygones. She's in her relationship. Sometimes we assume these boundaries without having actual conversations, because they're kind of uncomfortable to talk about. So we kind of skirt around it like it never happened. you know what I'm saying? It's kind of swept under the rug, like, oh, that was so long ago. But it's never established these boundaries. Like, okay, well, this is this and this ain't that. I think a lot of people have fear of offending the other person or even making themselves come off like that your mind may subliminally still be there, even though it's not. And so setting boundaries is not an assumed conversation. This is a direct adult grown conversation that needs to be had. You guys want to be friends. Your mate is fine with it. Establish those rules, not just for the protection of your relationship, but for the protection of yourself.
Real talk. I agree, guys. So you know what? This was been a really good conversation. We're gonna get ready to.
Question.
Griff got a question. He hasn't asked a question yet. Anybody question on this feed?
Yeah. So they're saying that they don't think it's a problem being on a friend level. Just keep it at that. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's not a secret and it's respectful and cool.
Okay, and I agree. I think it is respectful and cool. I think if you do have a problem with it, I think you should sit down as adults and talk about it. I don't think we should throw everything out. But again, every situation is unique, and this does not apply to every situation. Especially when there's abuse that's involved, when there's mistrust that's involved. What about if there's kids that's involved? What if you have kids with the other party?
You want to be best friends with baby daddy all over again? That's a topic by itself.
That's tricky. But again, I don't think the word best friends apply because when you're in a relationship and you're building something with someone, you have to put them in them. You have to begin to understand about priority and access. Okay, you do have to remain in some type of communication with an ex, especially if you have children, especially if there's children involved and things like that involved. I know people who are business partners with exes, and they get into relationships with someone else, and they strictly about business. I think there's always going to be a fear. I think the one fear is that this person is going to somehow maneuver their way back into the relationship. There's some hidden feelings, some unresolved issues, and those things definitely can be an issue. That's why you have to be real with yourself, And I know sometimes, like my wife says, and she says she believes women have a better handle on those type of relationships. I don't know. I think, it can go either way, because sometimes women have hidden agendas too. That one night when your man act a fool and he ain't doing what he's supposed to do and you get that itch or that ex put on that cologne that he used to have on.
Statistically speaking, though.
Okay, statistically speaking, yeah, women do tend to have a better handle on it. But I think women are also a little bit more loving and forgiving. And because they feel like they can handle it, still doesn't mean that a situation may not come up later on where it can be uncomfortable and that woman have to confront the ex. And that can be uncomfortable too, because sometimes it does need to be done, okay? So I think, all in all, with this young lady's thing, I think, young lady, you were wrong for not telling him what. Okay, Griff got a question.
Can I read it?
Go ahead.
All right, so Griff Taylor's question. If a man pursues a woman with romantic interests, but there is no formal relationship established, should she expect the same privileges as a woman in a romantic relationship?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
I really want to. If a man pursues a woman with romantic interests, but there's no formal relationship established, should she expect the same privileges as a woman in a romantic relationship? Now, I know that's a little bit different than the question we were talking about today, but just really to get to that question, and we're going to probably say this for another topic to go into it.
Yeah, it's totally.
But I think so. I think if a man is pursuing a woman, right, he's interested in it, he has feelings for it, and no formal relationship established. Now, my question is, why should a woman expect privileges if she doesn't feel the same way? I think if you're pursuing something romantically on your part, and that woman does not reciprocate that, if she is telling you she only wants to be friends, but yet she's expecting privileges in a romantic relationship, I think that is a sign that there's someone is being used in that situation. If because let me tell you something. My wife, when we first started courting, or just in our beginning of our friendship, when we were getting really close, my wife was very careful not to accept certain gifts from me. certain. I couldn't even call my wife babe or babe. She had a problem with that, and we were friends. We've known each other for years, but she felt like there was a limit. You shouldn't use babe, baby, if we're not mutually agreeing that the relationship is going that romantic way. So my wife put up a standard and said, no, I feel uncomfortable with you calling me babe or baby. I feel uncomfortable with accepting certain gifts, because she knew that that could lead to other things. And she had a heart where she didn't want anything to be misunderstood.
Right.
You know,
even especially like something simple like babe or baby. Like some people use those terms freely with everybody, but to me, those are terms of endearment. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that means something, regardless how it means to you, is how it means to me too, because we are conversating together. We're having a conversation together, and it's directed towards me. So I have the right to share with you how that makes me feel. Even having access to certain things he was offering, I didn't feel like it was appropriate in the realm of a friendship. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, like he was fine with my responses, and I don't even know if he was expecting the responses that I gave him. But, you know, I had to break it down to him, like, you know, I don't think that's appropriate. We're friends, you know, that's more towards, you know, relationships type of thing. So, but yeah, like our friendship was, we had a long established friendship, but as we slowly started to get into the realm of being into a relationship, obviously those things evolved and things opened up where those things were acceptable and welcome. But in the realm of friendship, there are lots of do's and don'ts that people just kind of gray the lines to, blur the lines to. Yeah. And I have, you know, some couples who have been better friends after breaking up and after divorcing, they find like they get along way better. So there are exceptions to any rule. But in this particular situation, she was in the wrong. She was in the wrong.
And yeah, and Griff, and I hope that helped. Like Griff, just to recap on that quick question for Griff, I don't think a woman should expect of the same standards of a woman that's in a romantic relationship. And as the man, I think you should stop offering those services. Your time as a man is just as precious as it is for a woman.
And so is your body.
And so is your body. And so is your body, guys. Yes. So, you know, don't waste your time. You know, there's a scripture that says, don't cast your pearl before swine, which is basically saying, you know what, when you have goodness and virtue on any situation, don't put it in front of someone that's not going to appreciate it or even understand what it is. That person should not be expecting privileges or romantic gestures if they know that that's not where the relationship is going to go. And if they are willfully accepting, now it's one thing when you keep pushing it on somebody and they telling you no, 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 and then you keep, you know, you're going to take these flowers. You're going to take this steak dinner. I don't care.
I'm not taking just to shut you up. Like, that's what you get. But it's like, that ain't fun.
That ain't fun. You know what I'm saying? So you want to start pushing it too. I think once it's mutually agreed on the other party that, hey, this is just going to be friends, then you shouldn't be doing those things. You shouldn't be picking them up. You shouldn't be late night phone call. You remember what I told you guys in the beginning? Relationships, serious relationships and marriages are about two things: access and priority. You should not give anyone total access to your body, to yourself, until you are in a committed relationship, and preferably marriage. But we know we're in a day where people don't get married as much. In priority, that person should be priority in your life, and that's when it's established. And that's when you guys are faithfully going into something, okay? So I want to make sure you guys don't waste your time. Don't waste your time in a dead relationship. Don't give somebody the best years of your life for something that's not going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that snapback is going to stop snapping back at some point, and you don't want to be giving up all that love and time to somebody that's not deserving. Another question. Should a woman be the sole person to determine marriage preparation in a relationship? Oh, no, and they already starting to answer that. No. If we both get married, then we both need to deal with the preparations and the opportunity. We both need to. It's not one-sided. And when you start off one side, that's normally however you start is how you're going to end. Yeah. All right? So you definitely want to be in a position where you both are sharing responsibility. Because you know what? That's like a test to how the marriage is going to be. If you guys can't even handle and deal with the beginning of a marital before you get married, how you going to deal with children? How you going to deal with money? How you going to deal with where we're going to live? What church we're going to go to? These small things are key things that's going to help you determine what type of relationship you guys are going to be.
Preaching.
Right? Preaching. Offering, you can send an offering to Jimmy Crack Corner, I don't care. But listen, guys, we're going to get ready to wrap it up, you know what I'm saying? We guys appreciate you guys listening in on Coach My Love TV. Please make sure you follow us, Coach My Love TV on YouTube. Okay, subscribe, share, y'all. We listen. We are here. We are blessed to be able to give you guys information. We are blessed to be able to have the love that God has given me. Come here, give me some. Give me some.
Yes.
I love this girl.
I love this man. Y'all know what's up.
This is my boo
Crazy
thing.
That's my teddy bear right here. My teddy bear.
Girl, you know they say teddy bears, they still bears now, girl. Don't you scratch your eyeballs out.
You're so silly. Oh my God.
Yes, CoachMyLove.com is the website. If you guys have any
thank you,
Griff. Thank you guys. If you guys have any relationship issues, questions, we are here. Trust me, we have information that God has given us. I'm talking about stuff, man, that has been blowing our mind.
Yes, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to just add this, that these are tools that we have personally used within our own marriage and relationship. Like, for us, right off the bat, you know, even going into our relationship before getting married, we had a great rhythm and an understanding and a level of respect and friendship for each other. But even in the best relationships, you still will have disagreements because y'all still two different people. And the key isn't not having disagreements, but knowing the tools and keys to have a successful resolution when you do have those disagreements. So using these tools and Coach My Love and the resources that we've learned together and applied to our marriage has took us to an entirely different level of our marriage that we never even knew was possible. So this is definitely a gift that we want to share with all of you.
Yeah. And remember, just because you guys got conflict doesn't mean that the relationship is over. Doesn't mean that things are there. Susan, I know you have a lot of questions. We're going to make sure you follow us next time because we limited on time. Make sure you follow us on Coach My Love TV, YouTube. Please subscribe. Please tell people. If you know someone that's having some issues, even if you don't have an issue, let me tell you something. There are no such thing as perfect marriages. There are only marriages that's constantly being perfected. Let me say it again. There's no such thing as perfect marriages. Just marriages that are constantly being perfected. And the only way you're going to last for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of marriage is if you invest in it. Don't act like you can get through with issues all by yourself without someone helping you. All right? The Bible says seek godly counsel, okay? We are here to coach you guys in your relationship issue, whether you're single. We have a program that's called Single Readiness. Single Readiness. Single Readiness, okay? Single Readiness. And we're getting you guys ready for relationships while at the same time celebrating your singleness. It's very important before you jump into a relationship that you be whole and you be ready for that thing. All right?
I want to add, too, like, the relationship is important and key, but the most important part of a relationship is your singleship. Learning what you like, knowing who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we don't know who we are, and a lot of people serial date where they'll break up and jump into another relationship, break up and get into something else on the side. And it's like, you moving so fast, like you don't take a breath to even rid yourself of the baggage you just came from. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we don't even know what we like or what we into. We just know what we ain't going to put up with. But we don't allow ourselves time to grow and develop within that relationship or whoever we're going to be with too. So know who you are. Like, for real, know who you are. Know what you stand for. Know what you will tolerate and what you won't. Know what your boundaries are. So when you do meet that person and they come into your life, you solid on that. Because relationships are not 50-50. Relationships are 100-100.
All right, she preaching. I ain't saying nothing. Let her do her thing. Listen, guys, we are tired of people having their heart broken. We are tired of people wasting years in bad relationships just to end them 30, 14 years. I know a guy, one of our clients, who waited 30 years before he got a divorce. 30 years. Now this client is 58. Well, someone we met was 58 years old, and now they're trying to start their relationship over. Listen, we don't want that to happen to you or anybody. So please, go to Coach My Love, fill out our survey. We will help you guys. Follow us on Coach My Love TV. And if you have any questions, Susan and those who want to ask a question that we can answer on our next video, go to coachmylovetoday@gmail.com. Listen, you guys, we are excited about talking to you, bringing you guys things that God has showed us. We're not perfect. We like Paul. We are pressing toward the mark of a higher calling in God. Hallelujah. And in closing, baby, hit them with the quote.
Always remember, Never apply good information to a bad situation.
And that's going to be it. I'm your boy, Coach Michael, from Certified Relationship Coach Michael. And
Shavon Ballard.
When this is Coach My Love, we appreciate you guys. And please share this broadcast.